Hi guys, I'm Mrs. Lencioni. I'm going to give you a really quick tutorial on how to complete a reading strategy that we're going to use the week for. It's our first strategy and it's called the gist. A gist asks you to basically be able to summarize what you're reading in an article, showing that you really understand the main points of the article. In order to do that, there's two different parts. One part is part A here, where we ask you to discover the who, what, where, why, when, and how of an article. Okay, be able to answer these questions. And then in the second part, it's really taking these main points that you have put up here and writing a short summary of the article, which we'll come back to that in a minute. So while reading the article, I'm going to show you a strategy that works for some of you. If you don't find that this strategy works for you, well, you're the boss. You don't use it then. But here's what I've done. When you get this, it's going to be black and white. I've taken our tools off on the side and just highlighted these in different colors. And the reason I'm doing that is because as I read, if I come across what I think might be a potential answer for these questions, then I can highlight that in the text, and then I don't have to keep going back and forth. Okay, I don't have to reread anything. I can look at my highlights and how I've marked up the text. So what I'm going to show you, I've done for demonstration's sake, I've only read the first paragraph of this article. You, of course, will read the entire thing. But for the sake of this, I'm showing you how when I looked at my questions, and I'll, for example, show you who, okay, that's highlighted in yellow. Well, in the very first sentence, it said that city, state, and county leaders are a major part of what's going on when we talk about reopening schools. I thought that could be significant, so I highlighted it. You'll see Donald Trump's name here. I thought he might be significant in this, so I highlighted it. Now, I might get to the end of this article and think, you know what, this really didn't involve a lot of Donald Trump. Or I might think, yep, he played a very significant role. For now, I'm going to highlight that because I think it's got potential, okay? Same thing with the Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos. Now, what you'll note is in this first paragraph, there are more names. For instance, there's this guy right down here, Austin Beutner, and he's a superintendent of a school. He has something to say. It doesn't mean that what he has to say is not important, but I got the feeling this article is not about Austin Beutner, and I don't think he's going to reappear 18 times in this article, right? If he does, I'm going to reevaluate that. But because I think he has something to say and he might give us some supporting evidence for some points, I don't really think this article is about him. All right, he's not going to actually answer the question. So what I want you to take away is that your job in creating a gist is to really discern what is important information, what are the main points from what are insignificant details that are provided for you, okay? And for argument's sake here, we could look at the where of this article, all right? Over here, it said all across the United States. And just from my background information, I know this is something that we're dealing with all across the United States. Well, there are cities that are listed down here. But what, as I read, I find is that okay, again, this is a supporting detail, but the article as a whole is not about these cities. So I didn't include it, okay? Now, you will read the entire article, and you can choose to use this color coding strategy as you go or not, okay? When you get done, what we're asking you is to write a gist summary. And it says a 20-word gist. I can pretty much guarantee you, your teachers are not going to be counting every word. They're not going to say, well, you only did 18 and you did 22. I would say this. If you haven't filled most of these lines, you're probably not into enough detail. If you have way more than what will fit on these lines, you're going into far too much detail. What we're looking for is in a statement or two, in a sentence or two, can you get to the heart of what this article is about? You know, if I told you in 20 seconds or less, can you tell a friend about this article? That's really what we're looking for here. So you are going to read the article, you're going to practice this, and then in your assignment down below, you can compare what you wrote to what I wrote. Now, there's not necessarily right answers, but you can see if we are on the same train or not, okay? And compare our work. And if you have questions, reach out to me, reach out to your teacher, and we will get those answered for you. All right. Good luck, guys.